Did you know that the US government was on the brink of a shutdown? Just recently, the Senate was stuck in a gridlock, with hours ticking away towards a potential government shutdown. This was a scenario that could have had far-reaching implications for millions of Americans and a multitude of government agencies. The situation was tense, to say the least. The government was running on fumes, with short-term spending bills being the only lifeline keeping key federal agencies operational. The threat of a shutdown was very real, and it loomed like a dark cloud over the nation, casting a shadow of uncertainty and concern. The gridlock in the Senate was a reflection of the intense negotiations and disagreements over policy mandates and spending cuts. There was discontent, especially among the Republicans, over the content of the bill and the speed of its approval. On the other hand, Democrats were pushing for increases in funding for various programs. As the clock ticked, the nation held its breath, waiting for a resolution. Behind the scenes, the wheels of democracy were turning. In the heart of Washington, lawmakers in the Senate and the House were engaged in a high-stakes game of negotiation, their decisions impacting the very fabric of the nation. The topic on everyone's lips? A $1.2 trillion spending bill, a lifeline meant to keep the government running and avert a shutdown. The journey of this colossal funding package was not a smooth one. Tensions ran high as disagreements over amendments became a roadblock, slowing down the process. The conservatives in particular had their set of demands. They called for policy mandates and spending cuts, adding another layer of complexity to the negotiations. The Republicans, on the other hand, voiced their discontent. Their concerns were twofold. Firstly, they weren't entirely on board with the content of the bill, voicing concerns over some of the provisions. Secondly, they felt the speed of approval was rushed, a sentiment that echoed through the halls of Congress. However, it wasn't all disagreement and discontent. The bill saw a majority of funds being allocated to defense spending. This was a move that garnered support from both sides of the aisle, a testament to the importance that defense holds in the eyes of our lawmakers. But the negotiations didn't stop there. The bill also touched upon other key areas. It addressed the funding for various government agencies, ensuring their operations would continue uninterrupted. It also brought to light the need for increased funding for various programs, a move that was met with nods of approval. All these aspects formed the backbone of the negotiation process. It was a complex dance where each step was carefully measured, each decision weighed heavily. It was a testament to the intricate workings of democracy, a process where every voice mattered, every opinion held value. Despite the hurdles, a resolution was in sight. The wheels of democracy, although slow, were moving steadily towards a conclusion. The prospect of a government shutdown was receding, replaced by a glimmer of hope. The $1.2 trillion lifeline was about to be tossed, and the nation held its breath, waiting for the final outcome. In a pivotal development, the Senate passed a spending bill worth a staggering $1.2 trillion. This colossal allocation is set to keep the wheels of key federal agencies turning until the 30th of September. The funding package, however, is not without its omissions. Notably absent from the budget is military aid for Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel. In a move that's garnered international attention, the funding for the United Nations Relief Agency for Palestine refugees also saw a significant cut. But it's not all about the cuts. The bill also brings some good news. It heralds an increase in funding for various government programs, injecting fresh capital into sectors that are crucial for the nation's well-being and development. This funding package is about more than just money. It's about priorities, it's about values, and it's about the direction we're choosing for our nation. It's a lifeline, a $1.2 trillion lifeline, thrown to a government on the brink of a shutdown. And with the bill passed, all eyes turned to President Biden. In the final hours, President Biden took pen to paper. The tension in the air was palpable, as the weight of a possible government shutdown loomed heavy. With a flourish, he signed the $1.2 trillion spending bill, effectively pulling the nation back from the brink of a shutdown. The collective sigh of relief was almost audible as key federal agencies secured funding until the end of September. The reactions were varied, with some expressing discontent over the speed and content of the bill, while others applauded the increase in funding for various programs. With a stroke of a pen, the imminent shutdown was averted.